Math 786, example 1, try it. Before I talk about area of a circle, I want to show you the example they gave you for a second. I'm not going to go into some really long explanation about why this works because I don't want to steal that from your geometry teacher, who will do that someday. But I do want to tell you this. If you took this circle and split it into like 8 pieces, like a pizza. And you know how sometimes when you put pizza in the refrigerator, when instead of like putting it all together in a circle, you kind of go every other one. So like you'll put a slice this way and another slice next to it this way, and then another slice, and then another slice. There's 4. This pizza has 8 slices. 5, 6, 7, 8. So say that you took your pizza and you cut it into 8 slices and you put it together like this. Do you see how if you made those a little bit smaller, it would almost look like a rectangle? Well, here's the deal. The area of a rectangle is length times width, right? Or sometimes people call it base times height. It doesn't really matter. It's basically just one side times another. And the idea of area is you're trying to figure out how many squares it would take to fill it, like if this was a tile floor that you were trying to cover. Well, in this case, this portion right here, this is half of the circumference.
What is happening? I didn't get magazine.
And this part right here, that's the radius. So the area of a circle is, the formula is pi r squared. And the reason why is because circumference, remember circumference is 2 times pi times r. But this part, this blue part, is only half of the circumference, so you have to divide that by 2. So check this out. This is actually really showing you a lot here. The bottom part, that blue squiggle that I made that now I'm going to make red, this part right here is called pi r, and this part right here is called r. So if you were trying to figure out how many little tiles could cover this, the area of the circle is the base, which is pi times r, times the height, which is r. And that's how we get from this to this formula, pi r squared. Interesting? Yeah, I know. Okay, let's look at the problem. So in the problem, there's no reason why you have to memorize that. You just have to remember that there is a formula, and that the formula that we're using right now is this one. So they start us off by asking us to use 22 divided by 7 for pi. Keep this in mind, okay? 21 divided by 7 is 3. So 22 divided by 7 is a little more than 3. Specifically, it's 3.14. So area equals pi r squared. The pi we're using is 22 over 7. The radius they gave us right there is 7 feet. You're supposed to square the radius. 7 times 7 is 49. And now we're supposed to do 49 times 22 over 7. So let's check this out. 22 over 7 times 49. Is it all right with you, since I'm multiplying 2 fractions, is it all right if I do like some cross-reducing? You know what I mean? So what I definitely know here, 7 and 49, 7 goes into 49 7 times, and 7 goes into 7 once. So 22 times 7, I have no idea what that is. Let's try it. 22 times 7 is 154. One times 1 is 1. So the area of this section, the number of square tiles you could cover that whole lighted up circle on the floor, is 154 The size of those squares are feet, just like this. And the shape of those tiles are squares. 154 feet square. 154 is the answer. Then, I guess they ask us to do more. If the diameter is given, how would you find the area? Well, in this problem, and I have a feeling you can tell me this, but in this problem, since the formula for area is pi r squared, if they give us the diameter, we're going to have to change that into radius first. So the area would be pi times the diameter divided by 2 square. I know that that looks really weird. The short answer is divide it by 2. Divide diameter by 2. That'll give you the radius, and then you can put the radius right in there. Okay, here's example 3, the try it from example 3, which I really like. In this problem, there's this radio station, and the circle represents how far the signal can reach. You are trying to figure out the distance somebody could live from the radio station and still hear the signal. So when you look at what I just drew, it looks like what we're trying to find is the radius. What they told us about the radio station is that this circle covers an area of 40,000 square miles. So that means if this was a square mile, you could fit 40,000 of these into the circle. So obviously this is not drawn to scale. So look at the formula. Area is equal to pi r squared. They told us the area already. They told us the area is 40,000. And when you look at this problem, I know what 40,000 is. I know what pi is. It's a number a little bit bigger than 3. So really the only thing here that I don't know is the radius, which incidentally is what I'm trying to figure out. So we want to get that radius alone. I'm going to hit pause for a second. Well, here is something interesting. I've just gone through your book and I'm trying to find a place where I've taught you how to get rid of a square, and I don't think I ever have. So this might be new information. Maybe at our meeting this week you can tell me what you already know about this. But here's the deal. We need to get the radius alone. Right now, if this was a problem where I knew the radius, I would multiply the radius by itself. Let's see. How do I really want to... I don't want you to just pick arbitrary numbers and shove them in there to see which one works. Why don't we start by getting rid of pi? So let's get rid of pi. So the opposite of multiplying something by pi is dividing it by pi. And whatever you do to one side, you also have to do to the other. They didn't tell us what version of pi they want us to use. So let's just use 3.14 if that's all right. Let's check it out. So 40,000 divided by pi, 3.14 is 12,738.85. 12,738.85. 12,000, I can't remember now, 738.5, is that right? I'm going to check, because now I don't think it is. 12,738.85. 12,738.85. That's where I went wrong. Sorry, you guys didn't really need to be there. 0.85. Okay. So finally, the way that we're going to find the radius is we're supposed to figure out what number times itself gives you this. Well, any ideas? And the way that you do that is the opposite of squaring something. The way you undo a square is you square root it. That's what helps you figure out what number you multiplied by itself to get it. I mean, you could sit there with a calculator and just try it all day long, but really that's what you're supposed to do. So let's see if I can figure out how to do that on the calculator app. I want to do that number, I want to do the square root. What happens if I just push it? Boom! Darn it. Square root of 12738.85 is 112.8665, and they wanted us to round it to the nearest foot, I think. And that 0.8 would round the 112 up, so that would be 113. So that would mean the radius is 113 feet, and it's just plain old feet because it's a one-dimensional distance. So it's not feet square, it's not feet cubed, it's just feet. Oh, no, it's not feet at all, it's miles. Ooh, I think I need to go to sleep. It's too late for me to do this. That's the radius. So 113 miles. Now I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to check my answer key and make sure I'm right. Well, I actually said the answer is 112 miles, so I have a feeling that maybe they rounded earlier than I did, but 113 is completely acceptable. So then the other problem says if we had this circle here, let's see if I can move it, if this was the same circle, they're asking you what area is covered by the signal if the circumference is 754 miles. So 754 is the distance all the way around. That's circumference. Formula for circumference is 2 pi r. Very different than area. Easy to get confused though. So we know the circumference is 754. This is going to tell us what the radius is. So if we divide both sides by 2, 754 divided by 2 is 377 equals pi r. Next step is to get rid of that pi by dividing both sides by pi. 377 divided by 3.14 is 120-ish. So the radius is 120. So that would be this distance. And then they want us to find the area. So finally, to finish this off, we're going to use this formula. Area is equal to pi r squared. We just found out that the radius is approximately 120. 120 square is 2400. And now we gotta multiply that by pi, or multiply that by 3-ish, and we end up getting 7,536 miles, and the shape of those miles are squares. So that's not as big as this, which makes no sense, because the other one was it doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I did something wrong. Okay, bonus if you can figure out what I did wrong. Which answer is it that's wrong? The answer that's wrong is, this is example 3. 6 example. No, what is it doing? Yeah, example 3. Oh. Wait. 24. No, wait. I've done something super wrong. Okay, hold on. Let's see what I did. 120 squared.